right, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone, and good morning to everyone here. So, welcome to the Roundtable talk as well. I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm just here to do a really quick introduction about who we are, and then after that, we'll jump right into the Roundtable. Yeah. So, good morning. Welcome to Digital Blacksmith. We are an art school, not a blacksmith. Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah. So, welcome everyone. My name is Siu Hong. I'm the founder of Digital Blacksmith School. I'm also the lead concept artist in the studio here in Malaysia. I was also a guest lecturer for 4.5 years. And then after that, quick, and then I started more in school. The whole reason why this happened is because back then when I was teaching in the One Academy for 4.5 years, I was also giving a lot of sharings here and there in colleges and university. And I was also involved in hiring in Passion Public for 7 years plus right now. And there is a problem. So the problem is that there was a lot of gap between fresh graduates and the industry's benchmark. And that kind of makes me frustrated that me teaching in one college is not enough of an impact to help people out there. So hence why this school was started. This is our website. We are Digital Blacksmith School. We are here to help fresh graduate and artists to level up by providing accelerator courses that can improve their portfolio. So we provide things like online accelerator course, which is first one is environment concept art course, and then upcoming we have the power of props, which is prop design by K Tang. These are some of the artworks done by the students last term. Yeah. And then we also have an upcoming online mentorship. We haven't launched it yet, but right now it's at the phase 1 recruiting mentors. So hopefully we will launch it somewhere around end of the year. So in the mentorship, we'll be there to guide the artists or the fresh graduates in terms of how they want to improve their portfolio. So here are some samples that we did in our trial run. Yep, I'm just gonna run through it real quick. And we also have our Discord community. So if you're not there yet, please go to our website, and then you can click onto the Discord link to join our community. So in our community, we have a lot of like knowledge sharing. We have like free feedback to each other. So like people will ask for feedback, and then we will provide the feedback from the industry point of view. So yeah, here are some of the works that done, and we also have like weekly challenges where the community come together and do something together as an art challenge for every month. And we have a lot of exciting talks happening, including this one, which is a roundtable talk with 3 incredible artists or incredible designers, And we also have like a lot of more interesting courses, workshops, and sharing coming soon. So thank you very much for listening to these ads that you can skip. So now let's move on to the main event. I'm going to pass my time now to Cheng. So Cheng will be the host of the event. And then we have our guest, Jessica Ng, which is an architect in Japan. And then we also have Khadijah, which is a freelancer, illustrator, and artist. And then we also have Jessie, but Jessie is not in yet. Hopefully she'll join soon, but I guess we can kickstart the event first without delaying everyone's time too much. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. I'll pass my time now to Cheng. Cheng, go ahead.
Thank you, Simple. Okay, give me a second now. I also need to share my screen. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Alright, give me a second. Why is it not presenting? Okay, here we go. Alright, yes. Welcome to the Roundtable Talk, guys. This is the first one. If there's any technical difficulties, there wasn't any technical difficulties. So just gonna quickly jump right in. Okay, let's just start with meeting everyone. So as you guys know, Siu Hong is the director for Digital Blacksmith School, and today I'm your host. So I'm Chin Cheng, but you guys can call me Cheng. So I've been a concept artist for around 3 years plus now, currently working in Fashion Republic, also under Siu Hong's leadership. And currently I'm the brand ambassador for Digital Blacksmith School. So I'm feeling a lot of the upcoming talks or like hosting. I'm going to be doing a lot, so you guys going to be seeing me a lot. But yes, so let's go to meet the artists. So let's start with Jessica.
Hi, good morning. So my name is Jessica. I'm actually an architect based in Kobe, in Kansai area actually, in Japan. Which although I think a lot of people miss concept architecture. Architecture is also a form of art. And because I take a lot of inspiration from game industry, and actually my dream is to create a fantasy world like in real life, and hence I pursue architecture. Um, since I'm a game fanatic myself, I always like to look at concept art, not just buildings, animals or like bees and everything, just to influence what can I do to make a building special in its own way. I'm also have been working in the architecture industry for around 5 to 6 years, but I'm generally in the designing industry for around 10 years plus because I have previous records of me being an escape game designer. Hence, I went out this route. I've like done several projects, maybe like 7 to 8 non-commercial project houses, resorts to luxury homes to second base. I've also been involved in more commercialized buildings such as schools, music halls, gallery and stuff like that. So although it's not really an art, but I hope today's session I could share a little bit of my insight through what I can see with my words that could help inspire some of the young artists that are struggling right now.
All right, thank you. Okay. So as we mentioned, we actually are supposed to have Jessie in here, but currently we can't really get into contact with her. But I'll just do a quick introduction. So Jessie, she's a concept artist based in Toronto. She's actually currently working in Ubisoft Toronto right now. So she's worked on several games. The most well-known being God of War, and I think she's been a concept artist for around 5 6 years as well, and she has a very extensive history of art actually. So hopefully when she comes in, she can tell you guys more about that. But let's move forward, and then Hadi.
Hi, yeah, I'm Khatib. I'm a book illustrator and freelancer from KL. So I work remotely from home, and I've done about 50-ish book covers for different publishing houses like Disney, Simon and Schuster, National Geographic, and Penguin Random House. And I've had some work done for like films, concept art, like K-pop album covers as well. So I've been doing this about 4 years after I graduated from POA. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let's start. Before that, just a gentle reminder, keep your mics muted. If not, it's just going to be blasted to everyone and it's going to be recorded. All right, thank you. Okay, let me just close this for a bit and then we'll just jump in. Okay, so to start off with, I actually want you guys to talk a bit more about what brought you guys to your current position right now. So for Kadi's spot, you pursued freelance right out of college, right?
Yeah.
So what actually made you decide that you don't want to go the conventional route of like, typically people would want a job and then do freelance on the side.
Yeah.
But for you kind of just jump into it straight up also.
Yeah, okay. So I'm actually not really the biggest, how do I say this? I'm not the biggest fan of like games and concept art. That's not like really my thing. I like doing illustrations, but that's not the route that I really want for myself. So I told myself that I gave myself 1 year to do freelancing, and I told myself that if I don't really make it in this 1 year in freelancing, I would have to apply to a studio. I don't really have a choice. So within this 1 year, I posted like my commissions online, right? And thankfully that got a lot of like traction from a lot of people in like different industries. But the one that really caught my eye was the literary and the publishing world, because they contacted me for to join their agency to do book covers. So yeah, that's how I got my kickstart in book illustrations. It was mainly from that, yeah. As long as I could do illustrations that was not like concept art or games, I was happy.
Thank you so much. What about you though, Jessica? Because you're also Malaysian like us,
Yeah.
but then you moved all the way to Japan also to do architecture.
So actually, right after I graduated SPM, I was I have always been a science student, typically a physics student. I love physics things. I was not in any art course. So when I graduated
Same.
SPM, although I still really wanted to do like designing and stuff, like part of me was still kind of confused at what I wanted to do like in the future. So actually after I graduated, I started working instead of going to any of the college and stuff. Like I know it's a typical route for especially Chinese to like just go to like A levels or foundations and stuff. But even though my result was like good in science and stuff, I decided to like, I need to think about this. So after working for 2, 3 years, I explored a lot of other hobbies, I'll say. And then I really realized that I actually really wanted to live in Japan. Maybe it's like because I'm an anime fan, I'm a weeb. So I wanted to like, go Japan and learn Japanese language. So I started learning Japanese, and then like doing when I was learning, I was always been a huge fan of games and especially buildings, games like Final Fantasy, Shadow of Colossus. They have like such great world building that I always wanted to see in real life. But on contrary that I've never actually seen these kind of buildings in real life. So I was telling myself, you know what, one day I'll build that Nintendo mushroom in real life and somebody's going to build it for me and blah blah blah. So I've just started looking after real architecture, and that's how I got into like architect in the first place. And since I'm a weeb, wanted to do architecture, so I just YOLO and I came here, and this is where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Honestly, I did not expect the weed part, but that's honestly very admirable. There's actually
Yeah.
two ways we can continue this. But actually, I want to ask. So you mentioned that your SPM results were really good, right? And then actually for both of you guys went for a very like I would say unconventional route.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, how did your family react to these decisions that you make? Because it's not really something that they can like, oh, I know my friend's kid also do this, so I think my daughter will be okay.
Yeah.
Like, how did their support, or maybe a bit of like their how to say, their non-support lah, basically they were a bit against it, uh affect you guys, like did it influence you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was kind of in the same boat as Jessica with my like SPM. I was in science stream. I got really good grades in like science stream for my SPM results. So naturally, my parents would want me to do something like science related. But in my case, after SPM, I started selling my artworks, in conventions online, and it was a huge hit. It was very popular. It was doing great. I was making good money from that, just from that. And I think from there I was able to like prove to them that, oh yeah, like this kid should take this like route, instead of doing like sciences. Because my sister also wanted to do art, but she didn't get to.
Oh my
Because
god.
You know the
so she's
alternate
doing.
route, taken from you already.
Yeah, but they were very supportive because luckily I have a few family members who are in fine arts, so I'm not like the
Oh,
only one lah. Yeah, yeah. My family is a huge like um, my parents like collecting art, so
Ah.
they naturally I'm like they're okay with what I do.
mm.
Yeah.
What about you do, Jessica?
I think on contrary, my family is actually quite supportive. They never really cared about what route that I'm supposed to choose because I think Khadijah could relate because I have always been a good grade student. I've always get like
Same.
really, really good result, and I've always been really involved with the academic and stuff. I think my parents in general trust my decision making, and I actually proven to them throughout my in teenager life that I tell them that I can actually make decision myself. But on contrary to why that I end up pursuing architecture, I actually had a huge like mental breakdown of which career that I wanted to choose. I like my mom expected me to go to places like animation, because I used to draw a lot of like anime stuff. Or I used to draw. Then I love watching animes and stuff like that. Like animations and stuff. And my mom really supported me, telling me that why didn't you go for animation instead? Like, why do you go architecture? Because she have never heard me talking about buildings on architecture at all in through her life. All she heard about me yapping of some anime 2D guys. So she was kind of shocked when I told her that I wanted to be an architect instead of an animator in Japan, especially. She was like,
Oh.
why? And I told her, like, I think I agree with what Khadijah said. As long as you make money, people will shut up. And that
Yeah.
is a fact. If you're not making money, people don't shut up. That's the point. And maybe when I was younger, I was very pressured in earning money. It's not because I'm not from a very, very poor family. It's still sustainable. But I always was born with like, I want my parents to have a good life when they're older. I don't want them to like be paying my bills for like 20 years, I need to grow up and I need to support my family. And knowing how harsh animators are in real life, I've spoken to a lot of my friends who are in animators. They don't earn a lot. And unless you are really, really talented or you are connected with some powerful family who are in the art industry, you might get recognized. But if you're some nobody who has no history in art or whatsoever, it's near impossible for you to actually earn decent amount. So when I was young, when I started like, trying to like think about what should I do in the near future, I was thinking that I cannot be poor. That's my first rule. So out of so many things that I'm interested in, I guess architecture is one of the one that actually might get me some money. And to be honest, architecture is not such a frown job in an Asian family. I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
still like a decent job compared to an artist or an like a concept artist and stuff like that. So I didn't really get much of a hate, but I have a like an opposite instead because my mom really wanted me to pursue what I wanted to do, but I end up choosing money instead when I was younger. But on contrary, I really love my job. So I still believe in my art. I still believe in what I can do. So I still
Mm.
carry on that particular dream I have, even if it's in architecture form. Because art literally has no rules saying that, oh, you must draw and stuff like that. It's literally like an expression of what you want to tell your story to the world. So hence, I think my parents in Germany is still very supportive compared to a lot of like Asian families that I actually know.
Hmm. I would say your route is more of like you struggle with yourself more like you struggle with your parents.
Yeah,
Like the opposite way.
yeah,
Yeah.
like and my parents never really pressured me about money. Like they
Mm.
really are very supportive, tell me to just do whatever. But because I was raised in such great manner, I'll say it. I just feel really bad that my mom has to pay so much for my bills and stuff like that. If I end up being an artist, what happens if I can't pay my rent when I'm like 20 years old? I don't want to go be like, Mom, can you help me pay my rent and stuff like that. Like I feel very sad because she has done so much for me and stuff like that. So I agree with the fact that it's not technically my family not supportive, blah blah blah. It's more of the fact that I struggle with my own self.
Mm.
Hence, I decide to like, you know what, let do this instead and stuff like that.
Mm. That's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, that's actually a lot. I'm like, okay, since we're kind of talking about our family's influence on us as not just artists but people, right?
Yeah.
So I think we can kind of just talk about what actually makes you fulfilled in your job. Because it's very typical for people to think like, oh, as artists, as long as I can draw, I'm fulfilled. But life not really work like that. I think you will agree,
No,
Jessica.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think the English word art actually have two different definitions. And in Chinese or in Japanese, and there's a different word. In Chinese, I think the word art can be defined as 艺术 and also 美术. There are
Mm.
two different words to like generally to explain what is these two different art. One, the word art is basically your drawing skills. We call it art in English. But there's another term of art which is like the way you express yourself, which is like you call music as a type of art. You call a movie is a type of art. You call speeches is literature as a type of art. But those aren't drawings. Those aren't drawing that is required to have like nice rendering software skills. Those are whether you are very good at conveying the feelings that you wanted to tell the world. And that is what is very important, especially if you're an artist. And I'll say this because I still have that same value when I'm doing my own building. Even if it's just a building, it's not because it's like, oh, it's a strong structure. No, I will actually have really strong concept of my buildings I can bring to people and tell them that this is the new way of living. And it's very important that I can able to like open up their minds, saying that, you don't have to keep living like this. You don't have to live in a square. You can live in a mushroom if you want to. You can live in a dragon if you want to. And I think this is the way that art is a creativity that should be bring out, not just by like appearance or visuals. It should be a message. It should be something that you convey through your art. So I'll say what I could fulfill from what my job is whenever I state such bizarre concept that people couldn't like grasp because it's not ordinary, and they trusted me. My clients usually trusted me because I'm really good at like convincing them this is like the good shit. Then after the project finished, and when you see my clients' faces when they actually see the building, they were very grateful. They were like, "Thank you so much for making such a great building," and stuff like that. And I think that is really like fulfilling to me as an architect, especially since one project will take up like 1 to 2 years of my life. To be able to like finally I can see the result of something that I've been struggling for 2 years. I think that's a very great moment in especially in the artwork.
I can really agree though. Especially like, when you design and then the client ends up really like your work. There's that sense of
Yeah,
trust.
yeah, definitely,
It's
definitely.
probably you're right, Kadi.
Yeah. Especially when like like I get good feedback from my clients. It's always very fulfilling. Just spending like days trying to figure out a design. But if I'm gonna be really honest, like what really fulfills me in my job is as a Malaysian, right? Our currency is not so great. Getting paid in US dollars. It's amazing, like
It's the money.
it is
Money.
because your quality of life increases naturally when you get paid well, and you're more than happy to do that art that you are being commissioned or being hired to do. In comparison to if you're given a lot of like art to do, but you're not getting compensated well, you're not getting paid well, it feels,
I agree.
it's
You
a very
lose motivation.
yeah, it's a very, to me, being creative is mentally tolling.
Yes.
So you do need good compensation. As a freelancer as well, I feel like being able to give myself a holiday anytime I want is like a huge plus. If I'm like done with working for like 8 months straight, okay, I'm gonna like give myself a holiday for 2 months. I can do that, and I think I'm quite fulfilled by that. That's part of my job.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
On the topic of everyone's kind of in very different fields. I do want to ask, like, since like for Kadi's case, you're working in your home country, but you're technically working alone. And as for Jessica, you're working in a whole other country, right? Would you say your current environment influences the way you make your art?
Yes and no. I think a lot of people misunderstand Japan, a country, because they seen like all these TikToks promoting how advanced Japan is, how like so many pretty stuff and stuff. But that is only happening at the main tourist area. But I'll say like the typical generic Japanese is still really dull. They don't like fancy stuff. They don't like things that catch attention. They have this kind of like super strict manner in their life. Even my office is considered small. My firm is literally really small. Compared, it's not like you have to wear suit, you have to bow 90 degree every single day. It's not like that. And I like for this creative point of view, I'll say the most important thing that the environment can inflict on me is whether it will bring inspiration to me. And this said, so it's like first is the people around me. Like I purposely chose a small firm instead of like a famous firm because I don't want to be stuck up with people who are wearing suits and bowing 19 degrees every day and saying the same things over and over again. I want people to argue with when we're talking about a project. I want people to tell me what they think about a project sincerely, not just because, oh, the boss like it, just because, oh, we usually do this. I want something new. So I agree in the fact that an environment is very important because I end up choosing my own environment, which is it's funny because I chose somewhere not very Japanese in Japan. It's a Japanese company. Everybody is Japanese. It's more like, the non
The
very
mindset.
the general Japanese
Ah,
stuck in a place. Yes, but at the same time, I also think the reason why I said no is because I am a type of person who will find anything inspiring. Like when I watch an anime or a TV show, I don't watch it just to like spend my time. I watch it like I study a textbook. I will rewatch it, learn all the lines. Why is this shot so pretty? How do they did the lightings and especially like why did they position this frame and stuff? I actually do studies like that. Even when I walk in the park, like when I look at trees, when I look at lightings, when I look at the buildings, everything is an inspiration to me. So although I agree the fact that because I'm currently in a place that people have a lot of ideas around me, at
yeah.
the same time, I personally do feel like it's very important yourself to be able to find inspiration on average things in your life, no matter where you are.
Hmm. Agree. Khadijah, you got anything to?
Inspiration, like my environment, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Like, does it like how do you get inspiration from your environment? How the environment you are in influences you
right.
in who you are.
Okay, yeah. So I have to like definitely go out my way every day to see people, to people watch. I get a lot of inspiration from people watching actually. So I have to like sit at a cafe. I have to just like stare at people, have my coffee, stare at people. That gives me a lot of inspiration for some reason. Um, if you are freelancing, you don't see anyone. If you
Right.
don't make the effort to see anyone, you are not going to see anyone. You're just going to be indoors. So although I have like a home office here, I don't really use it because I need to go out and get inspired.
Hmm.
Traveling also helps. I travel every year. I take a lot of photos when I travel. Like Jessica said, the lighting, the nature, the environment, all of that. It's very helpful when I am, when I'm like lacking inspiration. I don't need to like always go out. But if you're talking about Malaysia itself, because Malaysia is a very diverse country, right? And I put a lot of importance in diversity in my work. I think that is in Malaysia, that is what inspires me, the diversity here
Hmm.
and how colorful it is, how many different like types of skin color there is here, like different people, different cultures.
Hmm.
To be honest, like a lot of my clients, they also hire me for the diversity. They want people who know how to render brown skin
Hmm.
tones, people who are not just like sticking to that same beige shade, you know.
Hmm.
I need to know how to paint black people. I need to know how to paint brown people, Asian people, and that's what I always do. I love doing that. And
Hmm.
so in Malaysia, I definitely get inspired by the people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would say like diversity and also adaptability is a very important factor. I think in all of our jobs, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think a question I would it's a bit spicy, but let's just go into it. Like, what do you think are the most important traits artists should have in your specific field?
Mm, For me, I feel like I think going out of the way to always consume good art. You know,
Mm.
I think every artist knows this because it's a way to train your eyes. Because if you
Mm.
stop doing that, you kind of just you,
Kind
you
of
don't really
stagnant.
improve. Yeah. And also taking the time to practice and experiment outside of work. It's a bit difficult if your work is really heavy already, and you go home, you just want to rest. But it is good practice to always have the time to experiment with
Mm.
with your like artworks to do some studies. Because
Mm.
personally, I find that I don't do that so often anymore because I've gotten like really comfortable with my work, and because of that, my art hasn't evolved so much in the past like 1-2 years. So I find that I need to also like start doing that more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then what about soft skills though? Because for your case, the example you gave just now, I would say you have a very high sense of like self-awareness of like, what do you need to do to improve, to not just stay in one spot.
Yeah.
But I would say soft skill is a very sticky thing. Everyone has very different answers. But I'm quite curious to like what you would think.
Wait, soft skills like what?
So we're talking about like, as I said, like self-awareness, self-discipline, or like
Yeah.
communication skills, that kind of thing. What do you think is something that an artist needs the most in terms of soft skills if they want to pursue your kind of career?
I think I think for me, right, my skills are okay, but like I think what really made me get here is the ability of like putting myself out there,
Mm.
trying to get as much reach as possible. It's definitely like an advantage
Mm.
to have as an artist. I'm not sure that counts as soft skills, but like I think networking skills kind of important if you are a freelancer.
I would say that kind of falls under communication skills,
Yeah.
Um, not every artist is so open to being a public figure, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Of course, when you're doing freelancing, you are your own marketing agent.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Unfortunately,
Mm.
you have to put yourself out there, even though it's a little uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's probably a bit different case for you, Jessica, because you don't really put like everything out there, right? But it's kind of different where your portfolio is privately shown to clients and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a bit different since I won't say I'm not allowed to showcase my work online. It's because um it's a more like an architect job is a little bit dangerous compared to an artist, because if you're building buildings, there's some secrets that are not allowed to be known for public
Mm.
and stuff like that. So technically speaking, there are some of my projects are not allowed. Like I'm building a house, so I cannot let people to know where is this house because it's a private house. So if I
Mm.
put out my portfolio out there, it's very easy to have Google search and stuff like that. But so I think if it's in terms of soft skills, communication is very important, especially in our line of work. But it's a different way of what Khadijah is experiencing. It's because why I think communication as an artist is very important is because I think a lot of people misconcept artists as being unsociable, as being an introvert. This kind of idea is wrong for any work, not just for an art. I personally am an introvert myself, but communication is very important, especially if you're working on a particular project with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So since I'm an architect, I am the professional, I am the consultant of this job. So it's very important for me to take communication with my clients specifically, not like maybe it's not the public, but generally speaking with my clients. Sometimes
Mm.
like they will show me something on Pinterest or like Google search that they find it really cool. They want to do something like this. But I, as the professional, I won't just be taking in like, okay, yeah, you want to do it, I'll do it for you. No, I have to be a consultant to whatever they think. I will explain to them their merits and demerits about doing these kind of things and stuff like that, and stuff like that. And this is very important for the client. That you need to have really good communication skills to actually make the client to believe in whatever you say. You need that confidence. When I say something, the client be like, yeah, you're right, and I agree with you and stuff like that. But I find a lot of younger generation, younger artists, especially my juniors, they don't have these skills in terms of like communicating. Hence, whenever they have an opinion about something, they don't speak out, or whenever they speak out, they lack that confidence in speaking out. Nobody listens to them. And it just ends up like, why didn't you bring this problem up earlier and stuff like that? And it's very important as an artist, not in terms of skills, because like, I'm pretty sure everybody can draw right now, but it's more about whether you as a person stands out, your idea stands out more than everybody else right now. So you have to work on skills that could actually bring what you call your moral or your pride more than anybody else in terms of like soft skills.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. Like being able to communicate not just your ideas, but also like present yourself as a person is pretty important. Then, like on the terms of hard skills, because architecture, you're doing like you're basically creating art where people reside in, right? So like for us as like say for me like as a concept artist, when I design a building or like just make architecture for games, there's no like oh this has to be perfectly structured materials or that. It's kind of like okay this looks like it's not gonna collapse. I'm kind of good to go. But architecture is pretty different. You guys probably have a lot of restrictions. So
Yes,
what would you
yes,
say is something that maybe the newer architects you see don't have this hard skill, but you think is something that is very important to develop in the future, other than like foundational skills and like material understanding, those kind of stuff.
I think what in terms of hard skill is like I think these are things that you will learn in schools or like uni. I think it's very similar with art actually. And in every art or like architecture, the school will usually teach you how to draw, but they never actually teach you what to draw. You have to think you still have to think of what to draw in the future, but they only teach us that particular skills. And I also agree with the part where like younger architect when they came out, when they gave me some ideas, I will tell them why it doesn't work out. And I want them to like I will give them feedback and I want them to re-feedback me to like defend that particular idea of why it doesn't work out. Because even I'm not really in this business for a very long time as well. Because in terms of like architecture, it's still really, really young compared like how you have people with 50 to 60 years of experience. Sometimes when I look at something, I won't know whether it's a problem unless I actually started drawing it. That is like part of the architecture. So that I won't know. I can
Mm,
imagine how it looks like, but whenever I started drawing, there will be a lot of things that doesn't match up with whatever I'm thinking because I still have to calculate. I still have to like properly measure all this stuff. And like in general, like you mean for example, like a concept artist, especially in art, like I put something similar like Nintendo World Mushroom. Those people live in a fucking mushroom. There's no toilet, there's no kitchen. It's impossible. You cannot live in that mushroom. So my job is I will make it look like a mushroom, but inside I still have to properly manage where is your toilet, where is your bedroom, because you will still need to live in those as a human. And
mm,
in terms of like laws, Japan has one of the strictest law in architecture ever. There's a reason why Kyoto is such a beautiful country. It's because they have law to protect to protect their landscape. If you go to certain areas in Kyoto, Khadijah, if you're going like Kansai region, like I swear to God, you need to look at it. There are no red color McDonald's in Kyoto
Oh,
because red color is too vibrant for the old landscape. There's only certain area in Kyoto. Kyoto is actually very big. Like the generic traditional route, you're not allowed to have certain colors. And because this kind of laws, this is just like a very simple law. There are so many crazier law, like you cannot go over 3 stories, you cannot build over this particular height to protect like the overall landscape and stuff like that. So this I would say is much more of an like like experience wise because once you fucked up much enough you generally will understand I like it had this thing got this thing and stuff like that because you just have to keep repeating, keep looking at news, keep reading. Even after you graduate, the studying will never stop because there are so many laws, so many rules that they don't actually they do tell you in school, but you just never really like connect the line like whenever you started working. I think it's very similar to art. Like theories they teach you in school, but once you started drawing, it just doesn't flow as what you were
mm.
taught. You will still have to figure things out even after you graduated.
yeah.
Yeah, like I would say general curiosity to learn and also observational skills. Like the
Yeah.
example with Kyoto, they don't have red roof tiles for the life of them. It's all like different shades of grey.
It's just like
It's
when I
just like
was in Morocco, if the whole town is blue, some towns
yeah,
are just all white. They
yeah.
have
It's like
Yeah,
those
there's a
that
very strict law in terms of those kind of
mm.
things. Yeah, and people don't realize that because you're not in like you don't study architecture. But yeah, these are the laws that is protecting the view in general, and we have to obey that. And that's why we are the consultants. So you cannot be like I want to build a red color big ass mushroom in the middle of here in Kyoto, it's impossible. We will not get it like done. So we will consult you. How about that? We build a huge ass wall around that mushroom, so you still have your small mushroom. It's just that the people won't know there's a mushroom inside. So I think it's very important to have like communication like that in terms of like art field.
Then, okay, so what, like, maybe let's say you're in a situation where maybe say you're getting a assistant or like you have a new hire. Would you prefer someone that's really good at making art? Their art skills are really good, but they cannot network, they cannot communicate for the life of them, or someone who is really good at soft skills, but maybe their work is more on the average end?
I would prefer having great soft skills and average work, because the thing about, I think a lot of people misunderstand about work and art. I don't look at my work as work. I look at it as part of my art project. And when people talk about like work, oh, you shouldn't put so much effort in work because oh, it's just a work. I don't look at it that way, because to me, yes, your work is replaceable by anybody else in this world, but your art should not be replaced by anybody else. If your art is replaceable by anybody else, then you're not considered an artist. I mean, it might sound a little bit harsh, but that's how I view my work, especially. I take a lot of pride in it. So whenever I counter, I do have a few like younger architects like around me. When I have like when we go lunch and we talk about these kind of things, I always want them to give more opinions about something. I always advise them to start thinking about what you actually think about this one thing, even if it's like shows or movies or even about a song. It doesn't necessarily need to be a building. I want you to be able to give more opinions, because the reason why I prefer those, because I am still a human after all. Sometimes I will make mistakes, and I need my like somebody else to help me to catch those particular mistake, or maybe they voice out what is not wrong, because I might be sometimes when I'm so focused on what I wanted, and maybe I miss like maybe I forgot about what the client wanted originally, or I just gone by to. I still need someone to be able to like pull me down. Hey, no, we should do this instead of that. But I understand if you have really great drawing skills, like let's say if you know how to mingle all this software in engineer software behind me, yet you never voice out your opinion about what particular thing is wrong with this building, then why do I need you? I might as well just hire a fucking computer. This is what I really perceive about work lately, because I had a lot of arguments with engineers actually, because they usually don't care, like, oh, we just want to finish our work, and they'll just give it back to me without telling me, oh, something is wrong here. But sometimes I will encounter one of those engineers that will actually voice out their concern, telling me that, oh, don't you think this is a little bit too high for a window? I think it would be better if you lower down a bit and stuff like that. And I think it actually make the end product much way better than what it is.
Interesting. How about you, though, Khadi?
When it comes to like, if I'd rather have like a good artist with like bad communication.
Would you rather a really good artist with no okay let's say no lah. Everyone can communicate, but maybe weak communication skills, or like an average artist but really good soft skills?
I think same as Jessica, like average artist with really good communication skills, because you're not gonna get like your work done according to like what the client wants. Even if your work is good but you're not communicating, you're just gonna give them the wrong thing. You're gonna give them like ideas that are completely out of like what is expected. You always need to communicate. Yeah, and also if you don't communicate, it's not very efficient, because the client is just gonna come back to you with a lot of like refinements, a lot of like levels of refinements. But if you communicate from the beginning, you might have to just refine like once ish, and you're like done already, you know. It's better to be a good communicator, although your work is kind of on the average side.
Yeah.
I agree with the both of you. So everyone who's listening to this right now, start talking.
Yeah.
So be good at art. Also be a good communicator. Do both.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
do
yeah,
both.
yeah.
Yeah.
We live in a society, but you were saying like you were mentioning that artists who can really draw but cannot talk, they might as well use a computer. It kind of made me think of a question I wanted to ask you guys. It's very weird. It's a very weird link, I know, but like, do you think AI has impacted your work, since this is something that's been in the talks for um
Yeah.
very intensely over the past year, I would say. Like, would you say that it has impacted you, and how, I would say?
The
Um,
AI in architecture is very different.
yeah.
So I'll pass it to Khadijah.
Oh,
Maybe you want to
okay.
start because I think AI is much, it's because I think it's more art based right now compared to
Right.
like technical stuff.
For me personally, thankfully not yet. Not yet. Publishing houses hate AI. Most of them do. Um, so whenever I get a job, there's always like a warning to not even touch AI. Like, don't even go there. If not, like, you're fired. We're never gonna call you again.
Hmm.
So thankfully for me, I've not been affected by it yet. But I know
Hmm.
for like artists in other industries, most probably, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think I can chime in on that. So,
Mm,
I work as a concept artist in a game company.
yeah,
Yes, we've had cases where clients request us to try out AI, or we ourselves have experimented with AI to see if it can actually help us with art.
yeah,
I would say, based on my experience, wow, it's so bad, man. um, the AI can create very visually appealing art, but
right,
I would say it, for me, personally, has it hasn't served any purpose yet. The amount of time I devote into typing out prompts to get the
yeah,
image out and whatnot, I can just draw it out, and yes, it can be used to generate ideas if you're starting with a blank slate. I think it was very helpful for, maybe say, the general public. They want something but they don't know how to explain it to you, so they get AI to kind of do it, so you can kind of get like a very rough image. But I would say our work currently as game artists is so specific. The
mm,
functionality of designs is something that AI cannot recreate just yet. So I would say, for anyone listening in here that's very worried that, oh, AI is going to take a job right now at least, it's still too random. It's still too uncontrollable. It can be used as a tool, but it's not a means to the end.
Right.
But
yeah,
yeah, just like you were saying, it's quite different for architecture, right?
Yeah, because the thing about artists is because the general public, if you're non artist, when they commission an artist to do an artwork, they wanted a drawing. They want something to look nice. So if they could generate with a computer, why would they bother paying an artist to do it? And this is what the general public is. That's why this whole AI fiasco happened. But in terms of what I mentioned in the beginning, there's two words in terms of art. One is the appealing visuals of it, the artwork. The other one is the way you express yourself. So like I think in Khadijah's like form of her clients wanted her opinion, wanted her ideas instead of like a computer generated good looking picture. They wanted her in the thing. Whereas it's my terms in architecture, we uses AI a lot and it actually does help. Like what Cheng mentioned, doing the first stage of like talking about ideas, if you started drawing something, it will take 1 month to 2 months to even sketch up just an idea for our case. So with the help of AI, it could just within 5 minutes, we could just, it'll generally look something like that. How about this? How about that? And it can easily change like, maybe we change this color, maybe we change this shape to like triangle. And we just throw ideas and ideas to actually help us vision it better with the help of AI. AI was the greatest invention, I think, in my life right now. The problem is not with AI. The problem is with the people using AI. It's like it's crazy how many fake news is in the internet right now that is created by AI. But if everybody is mature, everybody is decent people using AI in the correct way, we could have been going to the moon right now, just to let you know. Like, but people out here, like, generating crying babies that can fly. So technically speaking, AI really does help my work be really, really short. I'm going to be honest. And also another fact that a lot of other AI users in our industry is to calculate certain like places. Like sometimes we will do not just a new building, we will need to like do renovation on old buildings. There is a system where we'll put a laser camera right in the middle, and they will start taking pictures around the whole room, and then we will generate it with AI to let us know how big is the room is. So it is much more accurate than what we will do by measuring ourselves, because we still have human error. AI is way more accurate compared to a human. And there are things like that they could calculate how heavy is that particular wall, whether can we take the wall down or can we actually increase the amount of materials on the wall. AI could help us actually calculate those things. These are really advanced considering maybe 10 to 20 years ago, people are still drawing using their hand for a building. And it will take around 2 months to even draw one single plan that you can finish within like 2 hours with an AI. So, and I also agree with the fact that Y Cheng says that, oh yeah, I knew a lot of young artists now is struggling that, oh, AI might replace us. Melissa. They will replace the people who can only draw and doesn't have ideas. Yeah, they will. Because you are not offering what an artist should. You're offering your art skill, but not the artist part. But if you're an artist that has your own idea, that have a strong originality, AI will never replace you, because you are the one coming up with all these ideas. Doesn't matter your art sucks or what, because you are still expressing what you think about this world through your art, and this is cannot be replaced by AI. So yeah, it's kind of like a good thing, but knowing how humanity is right now, I understand why this is a concern. But yeah, it's very different in our field compared to
Oh
like
yeah,
artists
it's
right
very
now.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with design, people like a lot of people do use AI, but when it comes to like just art, because art is also about like human expression, right? You
Yeah.
want that human touch, and
Mm.
so
Yeah.
AI is too artificial to give you like
Right.
that exactly. Just when it comes to like art and like not necessarily design. Yeah, so I feel like it's not gonna completely like replace artists, because we have that human touch that AI doesn't necessarily
Doesn't
have.
have it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So hopefully for the audience, it like encourages you guys a bit. Don't get so discouraged by
Yeah,
AI.
don't get depressed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry
but
too
we're
much.
actually pretty much on time currently. I think we can put a pause onto the roundtable talk. Let's go to the Q&A session, if it's all right with you two.
Yeah.
All good, all good. Okay, let's give me a second. Let me just share my screen again. Yeah, thank you everybody for keeping your mic muted. I really appreciate that. All right, let's jump into the Q&A session. So these are the questions we got at our registration link. But if anybody has any more questions inside the Google chat, do feel free to just put it inside. I'll check it out later. All right, so let's start with this one. So how someone from a third world country, whose country doesn't have AAA game industry, nor film industry, wants to step into overseas industry? Okay, I think there is a lot of questions, but let's just go like break it down, all right? But how can it be possible for them too much competition to like demand environment cause artists? Well, this one is a bit more for concept artists, I would say. Unfortunately, Jessie can't make it right now. I'm not too sure what's going on, but we'll give you guys an update. But Sihong, do you want to answer this question, since technically this is in your field? Sihong, are you speaking or are you muted? No.
No,
I know I
we
can.
cannot hear you.
Technical difficulties on Sihong's side. I'm just gonna well, let him figure out his mic first. So this one is actually specific to Jessica. How do you deal with the sensitivity of local culture and sentiments when designing in Japan?
I think architecture is involved. Like, architecture is really, really influenced by religion and culture in the first place. That's why, European and Asian architecture is so different. But nowadays, we are very modern. Thanks to the internet, everybody is basically living really, really similar to each other. Actually, even if you're in different country, we still have aircon, we have fans and stuff like that. So I won't say like it is much of like a local culture whether they want something. Although it's very funny thing about Japanese people is like how we as like Southeast Asia, we have always been like idolizing the Japanese interiors, the Japanese style, we call it, the Japanese traditional style. Meanwhile, the Japanese hate those styles. They think it's a bit old. It's a bit like out outdated. Instead, they like the European style. They like the little cute Rococo stuff and stuff like that. So they do have this kind of what you call um influence that is inflicted on them. Still same as I think as a consultant, it's very important to actually like bring out my ideas to them and explain to them that oh this could be better, this could be that, and not just by taking in whatever they say. I think it's not just because of like being Japanese or whatnot, and anybody also like when they wanted to do something, I would always consult. I would always tell them the things here and there, the bad things and the good things, and then we will communicate a lot of things. And also, it's very important as an artist to stay persistent. Like I'm very proud of my work, so whenever I present my work, I will not easily bend just because they say no. I will explain to them why is it a great idea, and I will need to like ask them why do you think it's a bad idea. Maybe I could counter that with this and stuff like that. So it's more about me being stubborn. I think it's part of the trait. Like I will fight for it for my own works, I guess. But in the end, usually it will get rejected because it's the money, it's the cost. It's very
It's always
expensive
the budget.
nowadays. Yeah, it's getting much more expensive nowadays. So yeah, things like that, like the reality stuff. Yeah, but that's generally how I deal with it.
That's
Being
quite
stubborn.
interesting because I would say at least in uh, a circle of concept artists, we have this saying of like, don't marry your artwork
Oh.
because sometimes, especially for students, they have a tendency of liking one design, and then if maybe the lecturer or the client, maybe the artist really like design A, but the client wants design C, and then they feel unhappy over it. So, but a lot of the times, uh, they might not understand why design C actually works, why design A has like certain flaws. So it's very interesting for Jessica's case. I mean, you're very confident in yourself, not just an artist, as a consultant, as an architect to
Yeah,
present.
because I generally think art and design is different. I think a lot of
Mm,
people don't understand that. Design are like knowledge. Design is the theory to science. There are only good and bad designs. There's a reason why a design works and there's a design why a design is bad. But they are not never a good or bad art because art should be an expression of your ideas. It's not supposed to be rational. Like
Yeah.
like like I said, design a good design means it made my life better. It makes my life easier. That is a good design. But it doesn't need to be visually appealing. If I could hold something without thinking whether it will spill or not, then that is a good design, even it looks ugly. So people thinking design must looks good. No, design must be practical. Art is the part where it should look good. So
mm,
my theory is very firm on designs. When I like throw out my ideas to my client, I will always tell them the reasons behind my designs. It's not because oh it looks good. No, there's no such thing because it looks good. There was always theories behind why your design looked like that. But in terms of like visuals, we call it the coloring, the materials are using. Even materials is part of the design in architecture, by the way. There are like certain materials that we will use for like soundproofing or maybe like in certain um reflection of light and stuff like that. There's a reason why we are using that particular, and that is part of design, not part of art. So it like it's very easy for me to tell my client yes and no because design is yes and no. But I think
mm,
it's harder for an artist to tell a client about their art because art is very hard to say yes and no to. There's no yes and no in art. So in terms of my art style, like yeah, my design is foolproof. There are nothing wrong with my design. But in terms when I want to do something extreme with my art, like I have won an award before with my one of my concept building. It's basically it's a building that forces people to build trees in it, because like the earth is dying, so we should be building more earth, not the buildings. Okay, so I throw out this extreme design and telling people that no, it's not about comfort. This is about saving earth. That is my art point of view. Yet the design itself is not about the building. The main point of my building is the fact that I'm telling people that the earth is dying. That is the art part. So there's yes and no to that part, like people will disagree, saying that, oh, we can't live in such a harsh life, blah, 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 blah. But in terms of design, you can't say no to that, because it's still a rigid structure that is serve its purpose on building houses. Like, that is where I put a difference. That's why I could confident reply to people when they argue with me.
Very interesting, very interesting. Like art and design, these two terms are actually said differently. It means the same thing, but in at least us as concept artists, we say form and function. So
Yeah.
form is the pretty part of it. Function is, of course, does it work? Does it stand? It's very interesting from an architect's perspective.
Yeah.
How much parallels we have with each other. And
Architect is art. Architect is art. I'm still doing
it's
art.
true. It's
I
true.
feel bad.
Okay, so this one is actually for Kadi. So let's start with the first question first. So
Yeah.
what's the application process to become a book illustrator? Do you reach out to authors or publishers? And would your portfolio include illustrations in a specific style? Or would it have more variety to kind of showcase that you have more versatility?
Okay, so I was lucky enough to have my agency reach out to me personally to represent me. Usually authors reach out to them for my work, and other times they would also pitch my work to publishers for me. Their job is mainly to handle all negotiations and to get me the best rates. And it is completely up to me if I want to take on the job or not. But if anyone is interested in being a book illustrator, I'd recommend you to look for a literary agency, which is the most suitable for you. There's a lot out there. I would recommend you to go for ones who are based in New York specifically, because that's where all the big publishing houses are at. I heard the ones on Asia doesn't really pay that well, unfortunately. So yeah. As for portfolio in the world of publishing, I think it's better to show your specific individual art style. They're more interested in seeing how you portray a story to your special touch lah. And so I always tell people to put into their portfolio what is truly them, because that's what they're hiring you for. And to be honest, they get kind of thrown off if you show them a variety of art styles.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
kind of the opposite of applying for a concept artist, I think.
I would say concept artist, style wise,
Yeah.
at least for my company, Fashion Republic, since we work on mostly AAA, more realistic stuff, we accept semi-realistic to realistic the range.
Yeah.
But if your portfolio has completely cartoon stuff inside, then it kind of defeats the purpose lah, because you're not
Right.
creating it completely.
Yeah. It has to be curated based on what you're applying for. But for book illustrators, they really just want to see your special
It's
art style.
it's a lot more curated rather than the range, I would say.
Yeah.
Alright. Then for the second question, we did talk about it a bit before, but I think we can go a bit more in detail from your perspective as a book illustrator. So would you say the rise of AI in the past year or so has heavily affected your work and career opportunities? And seeing it advance in such a short amount of time also, or it hasn't affected you since, as you said,
Yeah.
even touch is needed. And I think this question is really interesting. As an illustrator now, do you think it's important to be knowledgeable about AI workflow and learn about implementing it into your own work?
For me, I've never thought of implementing AI into my work. But also because I'm not allowed to. I'm strictly not allowed to use any sort of AI. So I've never thought of it, but I don't think I will go down that I don't think I would personally go down that route lah as an
Mm.
illustrator. I'm not sure, like for like you say, like you're a concept artist and you have like tried it out, right? For work. So maybe for concept artists, it's maybe
Um,
AI is more useful. I'm not sure, but
I
for
think
illustrators, it's not really.
at least for concept artists, it depends project to project.
Yeah, right.
Projects that ask us to try it out. We have some projects that are like, oh no, we hate AI. So I
Yeah.
think it goes down to the particular clients.
Right.
I would say my perspective of AI is more on the neutral end. At the end of the day, it's a tool.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be controlled by a machine because it's the same thing as like when 3D and photo bashing is introduced. Everyone was so against it at the start because they think it's
True.
cheating.
True.
Yeah. But then at the end of the day, even if you have this tool, if you're bad at design, if you're bad at art, it's just gonna be a regurgitated like whatever that is lah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's honestly
Yeah.
gonna look even worse if you're already like terrible, right?
Yeah.
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 I think people just misunderstanding AI because AI is just a tool down on earth. We should always be constantly updating ourselves with new features, new tools. But like if you start treating AI as just like a part of a feature, then yeah, you can learn AI like in terms of like, oh, it's like I'm learning new stuff, not being like a boomer saying that, oh, back in the days we used to hand draw and stuff like that. I think it's more about like, you need to stay updated as a person, not just because you dislike this particular thing and then you just ignore its whole existence just because it clashes with your current living. So I think AI should be stay as a tool, and it should like try. We as an artist also needs to try to like move along and evolve ourselves for future.
I would say the biggest concern is the ethical part of it because
Yeah.
we know generative AI takes
Right.
artwork from existing artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's more of a ethical question every person should have with themselves rather than something that ban AI because it takes away our job. It will not take away our job,
Yeah.
but it is disrespecting the artists who had their works with it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
a very different thing. But yes, moving on. Do you feel rushed to get good at art and to get a job? And if so, how did you deal with the anxiety? Did you want to go?
Deal.
Wait, sorry. Is this question for me?
Oh, it's for all the artists, but
Oh,
you can
okay. Okay. Did I feel rushed to get good at art? Yes. When I was in TOA, yes. My skills were like down there. And I felt like I couldn't keep up when I was in TOA. So I was really like rushing to get better fast. And there was a lot of anxiety that came with it. And I just had to like try to calm myself down. I'm not the best person to advise on anxiety because I have really bad anxiety. I still don't know how to deal with it. But rushing myself to get a job, that one, thankfully, lucky enough that I didn't have to like face that. Yeah.
Do you think the whole like, oh, I have to be really good really fast, that sort of mindset, has it gotten better now that you have a more stable income now?
Yes. But because of that, I'm kind of like stagnant with my art. I mean, with my art, because
two sides of a coin.
yeah. So how do I say this? I was like really rushing to get better, and after I got like a really good, stable paying job, I was like, okay, I'm comfortable here, and then the want to get better at art kind of like dropped. So I feel like I need to get that motivation back now, to evolve myself.
What about you, Jessica?
I agree. In the end, it's about the money. If you start earning, your anxiety will be gone. But yeah, I also once rushed to get good at like try to get a job. I was like desperate, especially when I started like in this alone in Japan, like in Japanese and stuff like that. As yeah, it happens. Like the reason why we're so calmly like Khadijah and Chen Because we passed that phase. We had a job. We're earning money right now. That's why the anxiety is way smaller compared when you are poor, you struggle and stuff like that. So I know a lot of young artists. I've been there. I've done that. I'm still currently also have this kind of small little like anxiety, which like yeah, it happens to a lot of people, but sometimes skills and experience are like essential in growing. You can't expect a 10-year-old to work like a 20-year-old. That is just how it is. You will need that particular 10 years to actually flourish. So yeah, you might have an anxiety now, bear with it. One day and another, you actually look back and be like, yeah, that's a great experience. It's in the end, if it's very important for you to like stay true towards what you started. If you started something and you did not finish it, you'll never know what outcome it will be, and your anxiety will be there forever to stop you. So if you ever started anything at all, make sure you go to the end first before you start judging whether is it worth it or not, because nobody could know, nobody could tell.
Yeah, agree. I would say the anxiety is something that every person is going to have, especially in this sort of field. But I think it's also very important to take a step back and see yourself from the outside perspective.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to worry. That's very normal, but don't let it control you, like essentially. Yeah. So this one is kind of similar question. So I put them together. If you're inside the call, I'm so sorry. Just saying. So what suggestion or advice would you give for fresh graduates that lack originality and creativity? Okay, the second part, let's leave that for later. Let's make this a more general
Right.
answering first, and then we go to the second part.
Right. I feel like a lot of artists have like the same source of inspiration. Maybe they don't like go outside of the box. And that kind of leads to everyone having like same ideas. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think part of having like originality and creativity is also like finding who you really are, like finding individuality. Because for me, I kind of like sourced out my inspiration to like music and fashion, alternative music, alternative fashion, rather than just like maybe just anime and games. You know what I mean? Because that's like most people's like main source of inspiration. So I feel like it's about finding different inspirations that are like very different from others. I think that will like create something original in your work naturally. Yeah.
What about you, Jessica?
I don't want to sound harsh, but when I read this line, it just sounds like a teenager that is having an identity crisis.
Yeah, it's about identity, right?
Yeah, it's like, have you tried experimenting a lot of stuff? Have you tried out the box, being uncomfortable, doing things that you have never tried before you come and say you have no originality? Meanwhile, you have not tried maybe like million things in this world, and you just say, oh, I don't know, what do I want to do. Stop waiting for people to feed you. These are the things that you will actually have to go out and find yourself. This is the biggest difference between people who are successful and people who are not. Like, it sounds a lot like a little teenagers, like, crying that saying, oh, I have no skills in art, blah 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 blah. It really is whether you have to stay constant. You're like, why are you even in this industry in the first place if you don't have that particular strength to continue? If you don't have the originality, are you expecting to be good as an artist just because you attend a good art school? That's not how it works in art. It's just not how it is. So I don't want to sound harsh, but to be honest, like what I can tell for like people who are like, it's just like an identity crisis. A teenager, you need to go and experience more things in your life. You need to try out a lot of things that even if you're not comfortable with it, and then you have to figure out whether is it good or is it bad for you, right? And then one day or another, when you actually reach like maybe 30s or 40s, maybe you'll find your originality, like how people are in real life with their personality. Like, it's crazy because even younger generation right now doesn't even understand what they like and what they dislike. And here we are talking about originality, which most of their personality is based on famous influencers on TikTok. I'm just, I don't want to sound harsh, but this is the reality we're living in right now. So I really encourage young people to really try out, like, go out there and then come back and tell me, have you found your originality or not?
I would say, yeah, I do agree with the part of like you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
about,
yeah, I think at least for me as a concept artist, I think something that me myself have done as a student and many others are still doing to this day is their references are existing games, existing IPs,
Mm.
which there's no right or wrong way to
Yeah.
get inspiration and ideas, but you can't make a carbon copy of something and then say
Mm.
it's work. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I think a lot of people here have heard Xu Hong say before, you know, the 70-30 rule. The 30% may be things that they are existing. Maybe say you want to create a Chinese IP and then you look at Wukong. That 30% sure fine. But that 70% you have to kind of fill that cup up yourself.
Right.
So I do agree with both of you saying like you kind of have to go out of your way. I
Yeah.
hope this doesn't like kick you down a peg with the
yeah,
answer, but the reality is you yourself need to kind of figure it out, and I hope you do in the future. Yup.
Yeah.
All right, moving forward. Oh shit, we
oh,
should
you
mute Xu
skipped
Hong.
the second part, no? Isn't that like a second part?
That is the second part, but Xu Hong, is your mic fixed? We have one more question.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
you
We can hear
Oh
you.
yeah, they posted something.
ah let's finish this one in the slide, and then I can shut off the slides on my end. Valorant. Hmm. Nobody said anything. Mm. I think I want to add on to that also. Like, I know being an artist does not sound like a very easy job, but not to like shoot anyone. If you look at it outside perspective, I don't think there's an easy job in this world. So it's either you do a challenging job that gives you no fulfillment, or you do a challenging job that can give you fulfillment. Like you will struggle here and there, but it will like it will come back. The rewards will come back. So stay resilient. You can do it. Anyways, let me just stop sharing here. And okay, so this should be the last question. So kind of a bit over time. So sorry, everyone. So how do you future-proof yourself in your own industry to avoid being outdated or overtaken by the upcoming generation? So to give you guys a bit of context to this, um, and in our industry, there are so many super like young artists, fresh graduates that have like explosively good portfolio and good skills, and there has been like whispers around of people being worried that oh are they just gonna take our jobs because like they're so much better than like maybe what we are like maybe a few months ago, 1 year ago. So um is that the case for you guys? And if so, how do you feel?
It's the opposite for us because I think younger generation nowadays wanted the so-called easy life. Hence, everybody started pursuing art. Is what I presume. It's just a bias, but this is what I heard. Is what I feel from a lot of other like younger generations I know, because they thought art was easy because you get to sit in the office and you just need to draw and then you just submit and you get to freelance and blah 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 blah. So on contract, like our job, my industry is lacking people. We have no youngsters that are willing to pursue architecture. This is very rare. Even if they do pursue architecture, they will give up halfway because it's a very harsh course. It is like just now when Suho mentioned work life balance. Well, technically, I have like no work life balance. Like when I close my eyes, all I could think is about work. I rush ideas. I wake up in the middle of the night, started sketching because of like new ideas and stuff like that. Like, but the thing is, I treat my work as my life, so technically, I'm kind of balanced, right? So it really is like you have to work hard in this industry is how it is, but a lot of younger generations does not. And like you said, those are people who you think are very successful on online. They are the people who are constantly grinding right now. They are like working so hard, pushing their talent here out, showing people what they can do. Meanwhile, you're like a lot of youngsters nowadays are just like crying in the corner saying they are not good enough, which they could have used this time to have made themselves better. Which in my industry, like the lack of passion is dying in architecture because it's a very, very hard course. And a lot of people would rather take the easy route, like it mentioned. So I'm not particularly being, like threatened by the youngsters because you see, like architecture in the end is built by experience. Like the older the architecture is, the greater their building is. That is just how it is. So I won't think the youngster will ever like rush out from us because it's still terms that require a lot of calculations, a lot of life experience.
Mm. What about you, Khadi?
Oh,
I don't know if this is a bit hard to answer question since your work situation is quite different from us.
like future proofing myself, is it? Like
Yeah.
if I work. I mean, right now I'm not really worried about that, but I know that I will start getting worried maybe in a couple of years. Um, but I do think it's always about like, experimenting with new tools, always upgrading yourself, keeping up with new media, new films. You always have to constantly want to like improve yourself so that you stay in the game. I think keeping up with like even modern day pop culture, getting inspired by new artists, and observing what the art community is like at the moment, and getting in with the times, it's kind of important as well. So that you don't stay outdated. Because I know, like, unfortunately, like some art styles do become outdated after 10 years. They do. You know,
It's
Yeah.
it's a trend.
it's
Okay.
yeah, those are
Yeah.
trends, but yeah, I think at the end of the day also it's about like your own individuality, right? Like if your art style, if your works are like just you, very very much completely you, it's not trendy, it's not whatever, I think it will be timeless.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
yeah.
Mm. Okay, this is truly the last one. I'm so sorry for keeping you guys here. So this one is to Khadijah. You mentioned earlier that you started to put yourself out there when stepping into your freelance career, but for many students, they have this lack of confidence in their work, or sometimes even the fear of people judging. There's a saying called climbing the cringe mountain. I've never heard of that. For
Never heard of
creators
that either.
who,
Are we that
who are
old?
them who are starting to put themselves out there. Did you have this experience when first starting out? If yes, how did you overcome the cringe mountain? Did the urgency to earn income put out the fear of putting your work out there?
In the beginning there was like I was very cringe, but I didn't feel the cringe. I just like put it all out there, and it wasn't because of the urgency of making money. At the time it was really just like, oh, I'm just a little kid, I like to draw, let me just like show everyone my stuff because I like to draw. It was as simple as that. It's just that kind of snowballed into something way bigger, you know, as I'm going through college, and then after college it actually became like a thing I can like make money out of. So it was just all like fun and games for me in the beginning, like posting my work. To be honest, right now I feel a bit cringe posting my work online. I don't know.
Why?
I think because there's a lot of like expectations, um like with the clients that I work with, I'm just like I'm a bit more scared to put up my work now than before.
Mm.
Yeah, before this I was just like whatever, let me just dump everything online. Yeah.
I think if it's in the context of someone who wants to
Start out
maybe
right.
pursue freelance, I think cringe cannot be inside your vocabulary.
No, you cannot. No, really cannot one. You cannot.
Yeah.
Even if you feel cringe, just do it. Who
Yeah,
cares?
you have to push it. Stay the
Honestly,
Lulu, man.
yeah, who cares? Just
We
post
are just the
whatever.
Lulu right now. You'll see like people nowadays, influencer especially, you see all this cringe content here and there, but those are the people that are earning money, and because
Yeah,
they
for
dare to
real.
put themselves out there, you will have to cross over that big ass mountain yourself. There's
Yeah,
nothing you so like just grab a few supporting friends and just tell them to constantly remind you are perfect and just stay the Lulu until you succeed.
yeah.
It's
Actually,
like,
that works.
yeah,
That
that works.
works.
That works.
I have really close friends who have no idea about architecture. Or I show them a piece of my works, and I just don't just tell me I'm good at it, and they'll be like, yeah, you're super good at it, and I just carry on.
I just
Yeah, just stay
thought
there,
I'm
Lulu.
so good at it.
Yeah, like just
Yeah,
look at the mirror and tell yourself you're good at it. You're not cringe, and just get over it.
I do know a lot of really good artists who want, like, a lot of like friends of mine who want to put their work out there, and their works are damn good, but they're really like shy and really like,
Try,
yeah, they
yeah,
have a judgment. I'm just like, no, just do it, just put it out there. Like,
yeah.
trust me, in like 3 months a lot of like industry professionals are gonna like see your work. Like just trust me, you know.
Yeah.
If you put your work out there, if it's so good, within like months, a lot of people are gonna see. It's gonna get like to like a reach that's really good to like important people, not just like random people, like to actually like important industry people.
Mm.
I'm not surprised how much not shutting up will help you in life.
Yeah,
I think that's the only way I can say it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nowadays just people are like expecting things to be fed. Like back in my parents' generation to maybe 50 years ago, people had to like scream to get a job. People have to like run to get a job. This is how people are because there's so many people out in this world right now. You have to be competitive in order to do something. You can't expect a good job to come to your door when they don't even know where you live. So you will
Mm.
have to just get out there and start, spread your wings or whatever.
Yeah. I hope that answer your questions. You know, cringe is
Yeah,
basically that's basically just it.
we're
But
all
yeah,
cringe anyway.
yeah. This is the end of the Q&A session and actually the end of the roundtable talk. Thank you guys so much for coming. Any finishing words from one of you guys? Any ending speech? No?
No, I hope today's
Hmm.
talk, although it's like more like a just like a chit chat, I hope it gives out inspiration to like younger artists. Like yeah, like it might sound harsh a lot of ways that oh you have to work harder, that is how it is. But don't take it as we're pushing you down. Just take it as like a drive to continue forward because we are all just people with passion out here. You're trying to inspire more people to actually show us more passion. It's really, really nice to see so many people, so many young people are still into like art, not just being like, oh, AI will replace us, so I'm gonna do another job. No, we want people to be stubborn. This world is already harsh enough, so let us like be inspired and bring a new light to the future.
Yeah.
Ready?
Well, I think like all in all, like if you wanna, pursue freelancing, I think one of the most important things is putting yourself out there, having individuality, um, you know, having the drive and motivation to like push yourself like better and better. Um, and also not really like feeling the cringe when you want to do all those things.
Just do it.
Just gotta do it. I mean, if you want to be a freelancer specifically, like a successful one, individuality is very important.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. So this is officially the end of the roundtable talk. Thank you everybody who woke up at 10 a.m. and came here. I know it's very tough. It's a Saturday morning. Please have a good lunch. And I hope to see you guys again. Thank you so much. All right.
All right.
Go get your lunch, guys. Go get your lunch.
All right. I want my chicken now. Okay.
I'll go over. I'll tapao. I'll tell you when I tapao.
Okay.
I'll
All
see
right.
you.
All right. Bye.
See you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.